What's poppin' eviction notice? It's your girl Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 20 review. So, you guys, we pick up where we left off last week with Martel going off to Chris and his homeboy about Marceau being ungrateful and not giving him and Mel the credit that they deserve for putting them on. So then after that, we see Tisha's daughter's little hair care line. It's finally launched. They're selling and everything. And Marceau comes by to check on, them and see what's going on. So they sit down and have a one-on-one conversation. And Tisha tells him that she met up with Stormy at Black and talked about the expo meeting. And Stormy said that she and, Martel were poking at each other that night. And Stormy asked, was Tisha upset when she called him a biz naive? And Tisha was like, yeah, it was very disrespectful. So Stormy was like, okay, because it's you, I'll try not to say that no more. I'll work on it. Now, she didn't say she was just going to stop. She said she was going to work on it, okay? Which said a lot to me that, yeah, I'm going to still call him a biz naive when I feel like it. But I'm going to say that right now to appease you, okay? So, Marceau was like, at no time did I bring up her gender. There's never been a time I held a woman back. What'd you say? There's never been a time you held a woman back. You try to hold your wife back every chance you get. You didn't want her working, period. Okay. You kicked her out of y'all business. She didn't even have a office space in y'all office. You gave somebody else her space. Like, what are you talking about? There's never been a time where you held a woman back. What? And then gonna say, or where I said what a woman can't do in business. Marceau, have you looked in the mirror? Have you watched seasons 1 through 6 and all of the misogynistic things that you have said about women on this show? Are you trying to rewrite history, sir? Because this is not working for me. So then he says, I'm talking about relationship roles. Business has no gender. According to you, it does, because you belittle women at every chance you get. And it's making me feel like you belittle women because you want to be one. Okay? Like, and if that's the case, just come on out. Go on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, just be yourself and live in your truth, girlfriend. So Stormy asks Tisha, well, when he's being sassy, it was the fact that she was still saying that this man acts sassy to his wife, and Tisha just sitting there like the dumb she is. So Stormy was like, well, when he's being sassy, can you get him in check, calm him down? So Tisha asks Marceau, can you just chill? And he was like, in retrospect, I'll do it again. And going forward, I'll be doing the exact same thing because I don't believe I did anything wrong in the situation. Of course you don't think that you did anything wrong. You never think you do anything wrong. It would be too much like right for you to hold yourself accountable in any situation. Okay? Marceau is forever right. Everybody around him is forever wrong. I mean, that's just how life goes. That's the way life goes. Doom, 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 doom. Like, that's just how it goes for Marceau. So Tisha was like, so you don't care if it causes problems between me and the girl? And he told me something, that's not a relationship that I value. And here go Tisha, but I like Stormy. You like Stormy, but Stormy could call your husband out his name, call him a B, call him sassy, say he a lady, say he want to be a girl, say he want to be a woman, and you still like her, but you still pissy years later about anything that Mel has said, whether it was right, constructive criticism, negative, whatever. You gonna hold on to that until you can't no more. But you like Stormy. Now, in this case, when you should have been nuck if you buck, it should have been now. But you ain't doing it. And the fact that your husband don't care if it affects your relationship also says that he does not care or respect your feelings. Like, girl, okay, whatever. I know Thing. I know. She just dumb. Girl, me and Thing, like, child, ain't nobody got time for this. I know y'all like, why does this girl have a thing on her arm? It's actually something that's sitting on my desk. I love the Addams family, so I had to get some Addams family memorabilia for my office. Can't still wait to show you guys. It's not done. I thought it was going to be done, but I still got a few more things I want to do before I show y'all. But yeah, this is my thing. I love him so much. Anywho, so after that, Kimmy has her friend Andrea come over to talk about her sex life, child, and I could care less. Don't care about her trying to appease Miracle Whip over there. No, I don't even give him Miracle Whip. He is Hellman's, okay? I don't care nothing about that. So, Tisha and Marcel film a commercial because they're having a casino night at Black. And he needs for her to be sexy. And she told me, I don't know how to be sexy. And I was like, well, that dress you got on ain't hitting on nothing. It's supposed to be a casino night thing. Like, you're not even giving the correct look. And he was like, babe, like, do this, do that. Like, he was trying so hard to hold that inner woman in him back. Oh, Thing, look, he pissed Thing off. I'm sorry, Thing. I know you don't want to talk about that man and his wide hips. I'm so sorry, Thing. I'm so sorry, girl. So sorry. I know, friend. I know. But anywho, I won't disrespect you like that no more talking about that man. I'm so sorry. So, you can tell he wanted to be like, do this. Like, he wanted to show her the moves, but he remembered that he was on camera and that people would, joan on him. But he wanted to show her so bad. He wanted to get in there, honey, and bring out his inner Marilyn Monroe, okay? So, after that, Marceau visits Martel at his crib to talk. And he tells Martel that Chris went back and told Melody and the girls misinformation and that he had everything misconstrued. Girl, that man didn't have anything misconstrued. He said exactly what you said, girl. You just mad that Melody called you out and chin-checked you in your face. Period. So Martel was like, well, one of the things I was bothered by was that, if Mel wanted to speak, she would have spoke. So don't make it seem like you're the reason she didn't speak. And I was like, stand on that. Stand on business. Okay, Martel, you better tell him if she wanted to speak, she would have spoke. Okay, period, Pooh. Because y'all was begging her to be a part of it. So don't act like you didn't want her to be a part of the event, because she would have elevated your stuff and took it to a whole nother level. But she wasn't about to give y'all that type of shine. Okay, let's not do that. So then before they could continue the conversation, Chris calls Martel. And Martel was like, what's up? And he was like, just call to let you know I'm outside. And he was like, you outside or you gonna stay out there? You coming in? He was like, I just want to let you know I'm putting my sign up, my for sale sign. And Martel, you could tell he was so embarrassed because he was like, okay, all right. And hung up the phone and then went to the door and saw that Chris was actually outdoors. So he invited him in. And Chris was like, yeah, I'm here because the house is selling. And Marceau was like, I thought the house was already sold. He was like, I guess that deal went through. He was like, oh, so I got a little more time. Okay. I'm so sick of you squatting in these people's house. Okay. Get out these people's house, Martel. You have officially become a squatter. You are so Baroque. Like, oh my God. I would appreciate it more if you got on this show and just be like, yo, I'm going through a really tough time. I messed up when I divorced Mel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not financially responsible, or I'm in debt or whatever, and I'm really trying to work my way back. Come on this journey with me. We will respect that more than you sitting on television trying to front like it's all good over there when it's obvious that it's not. You are hanging on by a thread, honey. A thread. In a second, you're going to really be down there at family services trying to get assistance, and ain't nothing wrong with that because it's obvious that you need help, sir. So, Marceau then tells Chris that, he went back and misconstrued everything. And Chris was like, no, I didn't. And he repeats exactly what he went back and told Melody and everybody else. And Marceau was like, yeah, okay, yeah. You got it right. I know he got it right. Ain't nobody misconstrued nothing you said. So, Marceau then started talking a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of gibberish. Y'all, I don't know what that man said. He's tried to do some type of analogy. And I was just like, what in the homeboys in outer space is this man talking about? Shut up. So Martel in his confession was like, I don't like the fact that he's trying to belittle Mel or her business ventures. If that's the case, nigga, you wouldn't be relevant at all, because majority of the things you do are because of this platform and us. Because if not, he'd be right back at the movie theater managing that MF. Baby, one thing Martel ain't gonna let us forget is that Marceau used to work at the movie theater, popping popcorns and cleaning up ices, okay? He is not gonna let us forget that, and I don't blame him. Because don't try to act like your life hasn't elevated because of this platform, but then you want to act like can't nobody else, what anybody else has done since being on the show isn't considered like real business because it happened because of the show. Everything in your life has elevated because of the show. So shut up. Like, nothing that you say makes sense, Grinch. So Marceau says that he didn't want anyone to speak that couldn't tell the audience about their successes and failures, because he has no problem talking about his bankruptcy. First of all, now it's become he didn't want people to speak because he feel like people wasn't gonna keep it real and tell like the whole truth and nothing but the truth about business. You done made up every excuse in the book about why you didn't want people to speak. First, it was because of money. Then it was because people started their platforms and blew up because of the show. And you don't consider that real business. Then you don't consider certain e-commerce business real business. Now it's you needed people to be forthcoming and tell their hardships and all. Like, you done made every excuse. You know what this has really become with Marceau? It's one of those issues where you know you wrong, but instead of just saying, you know what, I was wrong, you got me, this is, why I moved the way I moved, I was feeling some type of way, whatever. He like, I'm going to defend this until I can't defend it no more. Like, I will never, ever say that I was wrong. Like, he is just refusing to admit that he was wrong. He will continue making excuses because he is not one of those people that like to be wrong. He just will never, ever admit it. He gonna come up with every excuse under the moon. Well, I didn't want y'all to speak because Neil Armstrong up there on the moon. I didn't want y'all to speak because the weatherman was saying it was about to be a thunderstorm and a 60% chance of hail. Like, what are you talking about? Like, shut up, Marceau. So when he got to talking about he ain't got no problem talking about his bankruptcy, Martel quickly called BS and was like, sir, you had a real problem with talking about your bankruptcy. You ain't want to talk about your bankruptcy, so I started talking about mine, okay? Because you was embarrassed, okay? And it was, I will say that Martel was telling the truth on that, because when Mel brought up his bankruptcy in they little meeting, baby, his face was, yeah, you don't want nobody to talk about that, okay? So Martel in his confessional says he didn't say in our meeting that everyone should tell the audience all the turmoil and suffering we've been through. It just makes me feel like he's full of ish. And he is. Very much. Diarrhea. So full of it, okay? So Marceau was like, you can't talk about when you were down. So that's another reason why I wouldn't allow you to speak on that stage and pay you. Child, you didn't want to pay nobody because you was trying to pocket all the money. That's why. And because you're El Cheapo. So Marceau was like, I have never heard either you or Mel talk about your failures. And Martel was like, I mean, because we didn't really have any failures when we were together. Catch. Don't be mad, girl. Martel was like, I talk about like my failures. He was like, Marcel says, no, you talk about your failure in marriage. Honey, when he said that, Martel got to rubbing his face like, oh, this nigga is really trying me. He really trying me. He want to take it outside. He want to take it to the streets. He want me to pull out that blicky. Like, oh my God. Like, he was like, just stay calm, Martel. Just stay calm. You can't go back to jail. So, Martel didn't bring up Scope and says that from the beginning, Marceau was never grateful. And Marcel was like, I wasn't, because it wasn't a gift. We were going into business together. And Martel was like, it was never let's go into business. I didn't have to do that. So why would it be let's go into business together? I was doing it to help you out. And I 100% believe Martel on that one. So they argue and they can't agree on anything at this point. So Martel says, don't downplay what me and Mel did for you. Says, who gave who the most? And I was like, okay, Martel, this is when he about to get you. He about to get you. This little slithery, slimy snake about to get you. So Martel was like, you haven't given me ish. And Marcel was like, you a goddamn lie. Have you ever loaned me money? And Martel was, with that one time when you asked me for 50 cents for some Cheetos. And so, Marcel was like, have I ever loaned you money? And Martel was like, the one time, but it was for a job. And Marcel was like, no, the money you gave me, now I say it, you paid it back, but it wasn't about no job. I loaned you money. And I 100% believe Marcel when he says that he loaned Martel money. And it didn't have anything to do with business. We all know Martel is brokey. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he borrowed money from that man. But Martel, like Marcel, is so prideful. He was like, well, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. Of course you don't. Now you got amnesia. So Marcel says that he didn't even tell Tisha that he loaned Martel money. Because, Tisha would have been like, hell to the no. So at that point, they just agree to disagree and leave it alone or whatever. So at the end of the episode, Mel meets up with Kiki at this new little popping area in Huntsville. And it looked really cute and fun. I was complaining last season that they need to go to different areas, film at really nice places, because I'm so sick of seeing these places that look like we watching Little House on the Prairie. But this area seemed like it was really cute and up and coming. So Marceau and the Stormy situation come up. And Kiki was like, the Marceau before Money and Fame was different. Just the disregard for anyone's thoughts and feelings, even joking at other people's expense. But when the joke is on him, it's not so funny. And Mel was like, right, it ain't funny when it's on you. Okay. And I can see that. I can see him turning into this monster once he got on the show. I think it was always there and in him, and he probably showed that side to him every blue moon, but it took for him to be a person that got on and got a little money for the a-hole in him to really come out. So Mel says, are you and Tisha in a better place? And Kiki says, I thought so, but it seems like we're moving backwards. Girl, it's some stuff going on. There are rumors that Marceau and Blank had an affair. Mel dropped her mouth and was like, oh. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. It wasn't no fake, I already knew this tea. I'm going to pretend we ain't had this conversation, or I ain't never heard this. She seemed genuinely shocked to the point where her lip was kind of quivering, oh my God, oh Lord, I don't even want to hear this, but I do want to hear it, oh Lord. So Kiki was like, evidently one night Blank and this other girl went out to the club, and supposedly Marceau was there, and the two of them hooked up with Marceau and had a threesome. And then the episode goes off. I was like, well, finally Kiki telling it, because we've been telling her, if you ain't gonna tell it, don't bring it up. And she finally telling it. And on next week's episode is when it goes down at this barbecue, child, and it is going to be a whole melee, and I cannot wait for it. Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm so happy that Tisha and Marceau are in the hot seat for once, and that all of the negative energy is coming towards them and not the hosts, because we're tired of all the energy being forced upon and focused on the hosts. Now y'all want it to be top dogs, y'all got it. And everybody in the cast got an issue with y'all. Everybody. And I'm excited about it. The first thing that they going to say on next week's episode is that the girl on drugs, this, that, and the third. Nah, she just sick of y'all. Because that's the first thing that y'all went to as soon as this whole Home Depot situation popped off. And come to find out, the girl didn't even have nothing to do with it. And she literally was having stomach issues. Her husband even co-signed the fact that she was having digestive, problems with her stomach or whatever. She been having, aches and pains, this, that, and the third. So, baby, I can't wait for this reunion. Super excited. I'm going to give this week's episode of Loving Marriage Huntsville a B+. B+. Next week episode, I feel like it's going to be really lit, okay? It's going to be a lituation. So let's talk about this week's episode now below in the comment section, you guys. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.